Say, get ready, because it's about to freak you out. Get ready. Since September 11th, 2001, 34,000 Americans have become Muslims. This means that thousands of Americans have embraced the very religion that inspired the worst assault on their nation in a generation. Did you know that there are some 1,209 mosques in America, 25% of which have been built since 1994? Did you know that there are nearly 1.5 billion Muslims in the world? 1.5 billion. But how would you know it? After all, it's not in People magazine. It's not on Access Hollywood. All these situations do not bode well if Islam is what I believe it to be. Many in America do not believe that Islam possesses any problem, since they do not see its influence in a tangible way in their daily lives. But Islam's influence has injected itself into our communities in ways that we are slow to realize. Let me share with you just one example from a pastor that I've known for many years. His church was growing, so he was interested in expanding his building. There was a parcel of property that was right next door, owned by a man that went to another church. The man refused to sell the property to my pastor friend, and in the meantime, an Islamic group was considering building a mosque in that same community. The pastor went to the city officials, and he said to them, it wouldn't be good for the city. But the Islamic group promised that building the mosque would result in a lot of money coming into the local economy. The mosque is now built on the property that the pastor wanted to buy to expand his church. He went to the property owner and asked him why he sold the land to the Muslim group when he was himself a Christian. Since the man professed Christianity, the property owner replied it was strictly a business deal. The pastor said, what about the business of spreading the gospel? You see, Christianity is spread by planting churches. Islam is spread by planting mosques, many of which are funded by Arab oil money. There is a Muslim mosque being built seeking to spread Islamic doctrine throughout the community and beyond, where a Christian church could have increased its influence in the community. There's another statistic that should give you a jolt. Did you know that Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world? Islam, the fastest growing religion in the world. Now, some might dispute that fact, but it is true. If you consider how Islam is growing, there is no question that Christianity is growing by conversion more rapidly than any other religion in the world. Nearly 250,000 people are being converted to Christianity every day worldwide. You ought to say hallelujah. That's 250,000 people. However, the Christian part of the world is shrinking overall, largely because of the horror of abortion. You didn't hear what I just said? That we're having more people converted to Christianity than are converting to Islam, yet we are aborting our children, and they are multiplying by reproduction. The fact is that Europe is aborting itself to death. The Muslims of Europe who do not practice abortion are increasing as a percentage of the population at an astonishing rate, as they are worldwide. So this explains Islam's growth. It is literally growing itself by birth rates into the largest, fastest growing religion on earth. In fact, by the year 2005, Muslims will comprise 30% of the world's population. 30% of the world's population. And with numbers comes influence. Some time ago in France, their Senate passed a law banning Muslim headscarves and other religious apparel from the nation's classrooms. Now, there have been numerous challenges and controversies about the law. The majority of French citizens and lawmakers from both sides of the political spectrum have supported the law, which would ban the headdresses and so forth, which reaffirms their, not our, constitutionally granted principle of separation in church and state, which is a core value in France, not America. Yet a steadily growing and increasing vocal Muslim minority continues to make it an issue. When 2 French journalists were kidnapped and held hostage in Iraq, they were threatened with death unless the ban of headscarves was overturned in France. Now stop right there, because I know you want me to hurry, and I'm feeling all that pressure, and I gotta get this out. I'm sorry, I got to get this out. See, I'm talking so fast that I'm afraid you may be missing what I'm saying. Now, here's what I just told you. In France, where they're supposed to have separation of church and state, they passed a law banning Muslim headscarves from being worn in public schools. The outcry was so violent that Frenchmen were taken hostage halfway around the world and threatened with death. Now wait a minute. Let me show you the difference. They banned prayer from our schools. We did not lead an uprising to murder those who passed the law. You're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. You've got to get this spirit of inclusion cast out of you. We're sleeping with the enemy. Willing to murder innocent people who had nothing to do with the law so that their children could wear headscarves to public school. Why are you looking at me so funny? Is this a religion? Is this service to God? In the Netherlands, Theo van Gogh, a Dutch filmmaker, produced an expose on the abuse of women in Islam. He was later shot, stabbed to death as he rode a bicycle through Amsterdam. His head nearly severed from his neck, and 2 knives left stuck in his body. One with a note pinned to it containing the lines from the Quran, which announced jihad. There's the picture. They won't let us have Bible study at school, but we're not cutting people's heads off because of it. Man was arrested and charged with murder and radical Islamic fundamentalist convictions. According to Dutch authorities, the government has felt unusual pressure handling this brutal murder case to avoid offending Muslims living in the country. You want me to go on? Let me go on just a minute. There are some, of course, even in the United States, problems that were unheard of a generation ago are surfacing. The question of how to interrogate and integrate Islamic prayers into the American workplace is becoming more common. According to Ibrahim Hooper of the Council of American Islamic Relations, Muslims are required to pray 5 times a day. Most of the prayers are flexible, but sunset prayers must be said at dark. Some companies use a tag-out system that allows workers to step away from the job for a few moments at sunset prayer. In February of this year, 30 Muslims, most of them Somalia, walked off the job at the Dell Incorporated plant because they say the company refused to let them take a break for prayer at sunset. In 2003, another company settled a federal complaint and now allows Muslim workers at a freezer factory to break at sunset for prayers. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that at a major American corporation, that the Christians could get together and say, listen, on the clock, we're going to go pray at 3 o'clock. Last year, Somalis walked off the job at a cell phone company to protest prayer accommodations and other grievances. There are issues that are not going to go away, but will only intensify as this cultural friction continues. To give you a better picture of Islam, take a look at